everyone, we made it. Welcome to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. I am Bess McCarty, coach for network marketers, also called the Strength of MLM. And today's topic is John Maxwell's Leadership Law number 4, the Law of Navigation. And I have something really special to share with you today that we have not shared before about this law and how to become a better leader and to go where you are sure that you want to go. So welcome everyone. The MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show is here every noon, Monday through Friday at noon Eastern Time. It's a generic show sponsored by our generic school, the MLM Millionaire Academy School for Network Marketers. And usually Jeffrey David Gamblin and I teach this class together, or we lead this show together. Today Jeff and his fiancee Brandy are at a convention, so I'm presenting this today for you. And welcome, Carol. Glad to see you. And would love your comments. If you're watching the replay, I'd love if you type in replay. If you have a favorite takeaway, a question, a comment, please leave those below too. And I do like to know where in the world that you're watching from. I am watching from Kansas right now. It's a kind of a cloudy, rainy fall day here. What's it like where you are? Is it sunny? Or are you getting rain and stuff too? We're getting a lot of rain this year here. Can't complain about that. Welcome, Rick. Good to see you. And welcome, Dora. Everybody hopping on. Our purpose of the show is to help people grow, to educate, equip, and empower entrepreneurs and create independent servant leaders. So the way we do that is every show we take one of the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership by John Maxwell. This is the number one leadership book in the world by the number one leadership expert in the world, John Maxwell. So we're taking the best of the best of the best to bring it to you, because you are the best of network marketing. If you are into personal growth and you're on this show, then you are in the top small percent of people in the world who are entrepreneurs and who love personal growth and are willing to look at themselves and willing to grow, willing to improve themselves as leaders. So congratulations, you guys. We want to bring you the best. And if you'd like to follow along with this book, you can get a free copy of this ebook at our Facebook group, the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. So when you request to join there, you can also request the free ebook sent to you. And you can also scroll down, find all the replays of the past shows. And you can find over 500 MLM leaders also in that group. So we hope you enjoy the group. Hello, Denise. Welcome. Just love it when a lot of our, and good to see you all. I love it when we develop a family of friends and people who regularly watch the show, and often they're the same people who are in the school. So definitely, you guys have become family. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Love to hear your insights too. So there's room to ask questions down below, and there's room to share your insights. Either I can share them live or other people can read them later. So, okay, about what people are saying about this show. Mary Gonzo says, thank you, it's so powerful, it's helping me change my attitude. And that is pretty wonderful, right? They say a miracle is a change consciousness. I think so too. So, welcome, Luya. Glad to see you. Okay, this cool topic, law of navigation. What does that mean? It means how we, where we're aiming in life is how it will come out. We want to make sure we're aiming in the right direction. And as John Maxwell says, direction is as important as speed. Many are going nowhere fast. So this law is not only about knowing where we want to go and being really, really clear about that, it is then navigating the path, planning ahead, and how you plan and how you enlist people into your vision and all that. So that's all part of the law of navigation. And I'm going to cover that today. However, first I want to cover the first step in depth, which we have never done before on this show. I want to cover the where part and cover the how later. And this is the advice that John Maxwell gives. The law of navigation is like, okay, if you go sit in your car but you don't start it. You have to start it to be able to steer it. But even more important than that is knowing where you want to go. If you want to go to California and see interested in the Old West sites from the old movies and stuff, it isn't enough just to say, well, I'm going to aim in that direction and see what happens. But a lot of us do that with our life. Well, I'm just going to aim in this direction and see what comes up, instead of determining it and saying, okay, I want to specifically go and see this site, this historical monument, and scuba dive in the ocean. I want to specifically do these things rather than I'm just going to aim that way. And I think your trip will become much more meaningful and have more experiences to share and tell at the end of it if you both plan and be flexible too. So that's what this is about. Welcome Shamala and welcome Bala. Glad to see you. Shamala, were you looking for my link because it came on later? So, okay, talking about first where you want to go and later how. I want to share something very special from John Maxwell's book, Put Your Dream to the Test. So he said it's real important that you make sure that it is your dream and not someone else's. That's his first chapter. And after he wrote this book, he was showing the manuscript to a friend of his on the golf course. And it was Mike Hyatt in the summer of 2007 that they were playing golf. And he said, John, you have to include in that to clarify your dream. He said that's real important. It won't be a good book, a proper book, or complete book until you include how to clarify. And it was Peter Marshall who said, give us clear vision that we may know where we stand and what to stand for. Give us that clear vision. So today it's about clarity, getting your vision. What happened to Mike is Mike told John Maxwell his story, and he said, well, what happened to me was that my boss at Thomas Nelson Publishers, he said the publisher quit, and he was the associate producer. And I said, well, do you want to be the associate publisher? And they said, well, do you want to be the publisher? And so he stepped into that position. And he said, I knew things were bad, but it wasn't until I became publisher that I realized how bad they were. And he found that his was the least profitable of 14 divisions in the company, and revenue growth for the division had been flat for 3 years, and people are even talking about how that division brought the other ones down, and his division was the least efficient. It brought no return to the shareholders, and everyone in the division was exhausted. They were publishing 125 new books a year with only 10 employees. Everyone is overworked, and the quality of work showed everyone is just exhausted. So it's like, wow, stepping into that, right? But he looked at it as an opportunity. He said, well, if I can turn it around, this would be a huge thing for my career. And if I don't turn it around, nobody can blame me because it was bad already, right? He said, so you can't lose. You can't lose. So what most people would do is they would step in and they'd say, okay, how can we, cut the bleeding? How can we quickly turn something around or publish less books or sell off some assets or something like that to turn the financial books around? You would feel kind of urgent, right, that you had to do something fast to improve it a little bit or something like that. But not Mike. What he did is he went on a private retreat, and he brought a pen and a journal, and he took time to go inside. And he said, I had one objective in mind, to get a crystal clear on my vision. What did I want to see happen? What would this look like? What would the division look like in 3 years? He said, I didn't care about strategy. It was more important to get centered on the vision. And if he would have just stepped in, or if he would have said, okay, let's just save this from drowning, do you think anyone would have got inspired by that vision? Do you think the employees would? Do you think it would attract new authors? Do you think it would attract new shareholders? Just to say, we're just going to, survive. We're just going to try to get above water. We're going to try not to lose money this year. Do you think that would have attracted success? Right? That's just surviving. So Mike was very wise. He said you have to know what the landscape is before you can paint a picture of it to others. So he gave himself permission to take this time to envision the future. And this is what he ended up coming up with. He said, and I think this is a good role model, a good example, a good outline of what can be done. He said, this is his vision from 3 years from now of the division. We have 10 franchise authors. Or first of all, he said, our division, Nelson Books, is the world's largest, most respected provider of inspirational books. And his division has 10 franchise authors that sell at least 100,000 copies in the first 12 months, and they have follow-up emerging authors selling half that many in their first 12 months. We're publishing 60 titles a year. Authors are soliciting other authors on our behalf because they're so excited about working with us, and our top agents routinely bring us the best authors and proposals because of our reputation for success. We place at least 4 books a year on the New York Times bestseller list. We consistently have more books on the Christian bestseller list than our competitors. We consistently exceed our budget in revenue and margin contribution. Our employees consistently max out their bonus plans. We are the fastest growing, most profitable division in our company. So he was very highly specific, even had dates. He brought clarity. That's the way to bring clarity to a dream. So that's what he did on his retreat. When he got back to the office, he called a meeting and he described the situation, how dire it was. He was honest with him, not going to pull any punches. He told him really how bad the situation was. And then he described his vision in very much detail. And people got it. Most of them quickly got on board. But simply communicating that wasn't enough. Mike read his vision statement every day. He thought about it. He dreamed about it. He prayed about it. He totally lived it. And he said, this is the interesting thing to me. This was a new thing to me from this chapter, my takeaway. His main focus still was not on the strategy. That was the how. That would evolve and that would come about. And yes, he had to work on that part. And he probably enlisted everybody's help to do that. But his main focus, 10 to 1, his main focus was the vision. The how often follows. He said 10 to 1, he put 10 times more energy into the vision than into the how, into the strategy. Well, what happened was that he had set a goal for 3 months for all this to happen. It happened in 18 months. And since 2002, when this was written about, Nelson Books has consistently been the most fast-growing, profitable division at Thomas Nelson Incorporated. And what happened was that Mike was promoted from head of that division to president and later CEO of the entire organization. And because Mike and the rest of the people at Thomas Nelson had that company's vision crystal clear. So he says, John Maxwell says, you must define it before you can pursue it. If it's fuzzy and unspecific, then that's what you're going to get. Let's see what else I can share with you. It has to be very, very specific. One primary reason, John says, that most people don't get what they want is that they don't know what they want. How's that? So I got so fired up by reading this that immediately I took a pen and paper and rewrote my vision statement. I enlarged it, the vision statement that I have for the school that Jeff and I teach, the MLM Millionaire Academy, how many people we want to serve, what kind of difference we want to make in the world, and similar to what he wrote here. So it became more specific. I had already written the vision statement and all of that, but it became much more specific and broader. He says, just let your imagination go wild. Don't worry about the how, because the how often limits your vision. And it's even said that your vision, we try to fit our vision to our current income, to our current box that we're in, rather than let our imagination go expanded. Our imagination is what takes us outside the box. This is a sacred faculty that we have, I think, given by the divine to be able to create a different life. And it said if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. You can make it so. If you can imagine a thing, you can make it so. But how often do we limit our imaginations according to our past experience, the box that we're in now, our current income, and we think, well, I can't do that because I never have done that, so therefore I can't do that. Rather than seeing ourselves as growing, bringing in new resources, asking new people to let ourselves expand. And he says, be very specific, instead of, like for your network marketing business, I want to be successful in my network marketing business. We'll say specifically what rank you want to reach and by what date and who you want to help, what kind of people you'd like on your team. With any business, let's say it's weight loss, so I want to lose weight. I want to weigh 100, for a man, maybe 185 pounds by June. That would be way, way, way more than I want to weigh. But, I want to get out of debt. Change that to, I want to pay all credit card balances by December 31st, or whatever your goal is. So we want to get very specific. It can be simple and short. Like John F. Kennedy said in the early 60s, he had a big dream when he said, this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon. So he was very specific. And don't you think that set a lot of minds in motion to make that happen? Being specific, that's an example of this. Being specific doesn't necessarily mean having every little detail worked out before you move forward. That would be a mistake. The big idea, though, needs to be clear. And the rest unfolds as you move forward. And you make adjustments as you go. But still, you should be as specific as you can about that dream. So what Mike did is he took his pen and paper, and the first thing he did is wrote down everything he didn't like about the division. And then he wrote down what he wanted to have instead. John Maxwell has a few tips to help him get clear. Like when he goes to do this, he asks himself, what am I feeling? What are my emotions telling me? What am I sensing? What is my intuition telling me? What am I seeing? What's happening around me? What am I hearing? What are others saying? What am I thinking? What do my intellect and common sense say? And actually that can be steps to taking your dream and making it manifest from there. But he said, remember, this is usually a process. It might happen in a big lightning bolt burst, but often it takes time. And don't lose sight of your dream. There was the story of the movie The Bridge Over the River Kwai, Academy Award picture a while back, and the lead character, Colonel Nicholson. Welcome, Will. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. The lead character, Colonel Nicholson, was the highest-ranking officer captured by the Japanese, and the Japanese captors tried to force him into leading his fellow prisoners to building a railway bridge. And first he resisted, but then he started getting into it and taking pride in the work that they did, and he sort of lost sight of he began taking pride in the bridge, right? That was a project, maybe a purpose, that gave him a purpose or something like that he could do. But at the end of the movie, there was a moment when he actually started guarding the bridge from attack by an Allied officer who had set charges to blow it up. And all of a sudden he said, oh, what am I doing? What have I done? And he realized that he'd lost sight of the big picture in building the bridge. He almost forgot which side he was on and what purpose he had. And his last act was to detonate the explosives and blow up the bridge. So that was his sacrifice at the last moment. But he almost stopped it because that was his bridge. He had pride in that, so he forgot his main objective. So let us not lose sight of that and remind ourselves. That's why we want to read our why, our purpose statement, our mission statement to ourselves regularly, and remind ourselves to keep ourselves on track so we don't get off. So thank you for joining, everybody. Thank you. Well, if you've gotten a takeaway so far, I'd love to hear what that is. Mine was to give the dream 10 times more energy than the how, so that I don't limit my imagination, so that I don't limit the goals that I can achieve. Remember, if you can imagine it, you can make it so. Imagination is your divine, almost magical quality that you have to create a different life. But first you need to imagine it. kids are better at that than we are. We lose some of that along the way. So let's see if we can reclaim that. Okay, here's a few more tips about dreams. A dream is better. A dream is a better future in need of an architect who will show others how to make it a reality. If you're an architect, you can't start building a project until you finished it in your mind. That is, finished it, imagine it completely. So let's say that you've got your dream and you've written it down, and that's important too. And by the way, it's important to handwrite it. Did you know that activates the right side of your brain and your imagination, your creative faculties, more than typing it? The act of handwriting. There's something about being an artist and art teacher in the past. I know that when I get a pen and paper, a pen in my hand, it's good to keep it moving, and it opens up the creative faculty. So he says, write, or I'm saying here, you know that guy, Mike, he took a pen and a journal, not a computer. It's important to write, to handwrite things out, to really open up the creative centers. Write your goals, write your dreams, write your why. Okay, so after somebody has their why, what I do as a coach for people is I ask them, okay, what do you want? Hey, welcome, James. How you doing? Glad to see you. What I ask people as a coach is, right, James? I ask people, well, where do you want to go? And that's the part I just covered, helping yourself to get your why and where you want to go in your goals. And then I ask, well, what's in your way? And then we plan and strategize how to overcome that. That's the three-part coaching steps that I often lead people through as a first coaching session. Where do you want to go? What's in your way? And how to overcome that. So those are three questions you can ask yourself or even your team members if you are helping them act as a coach in a little bit. Now, a lot of times, people need two things. Two things are often in their way. Lack of skills or negative mindset that they need to overcome. Welcome, Steve. Glad to see you. So, as far as skills, I'll cover that first. A lot of people have tried many things, like for example in network marketing. They've tried a lot of methods out there, and there's a lot of confusing ones out there. And how do you know? You try one for a while and it doesn't work, and you don't know if you haven't tried it long enough to make it work, or if you should abandon that and go to another one. It's very confusing what to do. That is why, well, Carol, take away, review vision statement daily, writing this. Awesome, Carol. Awesome. Okay, so for skills, a lot of people get confused about the skills. I have been teaching and coaching network marketers for over 10 years. I've been running a school called the MLM Millionaire Club School for Network Marketers. It has now changed its name to the MLM Millionaire Academy to reflect more of the school that it is than just a membership site. So it's definitely a school. It was last year that Jeffrey David Gamble joined me at this school. He was thinking of starting his own, but we joined forces because we are a good team. We have skills that complement each other very well. I love teaching with Jeff. So in our school is where we have prepared the skills and the 10 core commitments to share with people. This is the best methods I've ever seen in network marketing, and I have to recommend people to this to get the skills. So if skills is what's blocking you, then part of navigation is getting the supplies, right? If you're gonna do a mountain hike, you want to navigate your way, you want to know where you're going, you want to plan the steps up the mountain, and you will see what you need as far as supplies, materials, stuff for warmth, protection against getting wet, cold. You want to have enough food, and you want to have the climbing equipment that you need. So this is equipping your trip. In business, or especially network marketing, we could equate this to gathering the skills that you need. And that is what we provide in our school. Very proud of what we supply. It's the best I've ever seen in network marketing. And network marketing is the best business I've ever seen in the world. That's why I've become an advocate and a passionate supporter of network marketing. Welcome, Lisa. A lot of these, a lot of you are in the school. Maybe if you'd like to leave a word about what it's done for you, that can help other people too, to inspire them as well. So anyway, to navigate your way and to equip yourself for the trip, I recommend the skills. Now, what you ideally want is a method that is duplicatable, and we teach the 5 laws of duplication. And that is that whatever system that you use must work instantly for people. It must work with people you don't know, people 1,000 miles away. From the amateur to the professional, it can be taught from the amateur to the professional and vice versa. And it needs to work 10 levels below you. So we have a system that does this, especially Jeff Evolve from his experience in real estate and network marketing, that works with all 4 personalities, always gets a yes, never gets a no, does not get objections, is perfectly duplicatable, is simple, fast, easy, and we love teaching this within the school. I'll actually put a free sample of that in the links that you can take advantage of. It's called the world's hottest script. That's what I call it, but it's really how to always get a yes when you're prospecting. So that is how I help people with the skills, teach them this. Now, 80% of success, 20% is skills, 80% is mindset. And I help people with that in group classes or in private classes. You can see me about that if you'd like some attention to upgrade your mindset and change the negative beliefs and the fears into positive ones. And using your imagination is often a good part of that. Okay, so remember, you can ask a question, you guys. I'd love to hear a question. If you have a favorite takeaway, I'd love to hear that. If you are getting benefit and you know someone who could also benefit, I'd love if you tag people here, and love if you also share in other Facebook groups that other people can be watching the show too. So let's think beyond our own little world and reach out and help other people too. So here's some final thoughts about the law of navigation. John Maxwell says, see the entire trip, be able to plan it out where you want to go, and it will change as you go. You'll have to be flexible, and new things will come up, and that's good. But do the best you can to see from here to there. Allow time for acceptance. If you have a vision, a dream that you want to present to your team, like, okay, let's help people get out of debt. Let's help people get healthy. Allow time for acceptance of your vision. Because remember, I talked the other day about how people resist change. So it takes time for people to get on board, because it takes a little energy to learn something new or to get outside of our box. And then you got to expect problems as you navigate, as you plan for navigating your dream and implementing your dream. You got to expect problems. They always happen. There's always the valleys, there's always the rainstorms, there's always the unexpected stuff happening. So plan that it will take twice as long as you think. But always point to success, not the blocks along the way. Always point to where you're going. Keep your focus not on the detours, not on the boulders that fall on you on the way, not on the ditches that you have to go through. Keep your focus on the success, on the goal. And realize that's why you're going through those things. But do not let them get you off focus. And then daily review and plan. So there's a saying, plan, do, review. Right? You plan it, you execute it, and then you always review it and say, well, what went well and what could have been done better. A couple last tips from John Maxwell is to, because he says the larger or the organization, the more clearly you must plan and see ahead and see down the road. So how you do that is you look in your past and look at your past successes and experiences and failures and bring what you learned from that forward. And then you look out. You examine the conditions all around you, take that into account, and you listen to others. Gather information from multiple sources, your upline, your crossline, everywhere that you can, from this show, from other people who have done what you want to do. Gather and learn information. And then balance faith, which is confidence, with the fact of what needs to be done. So that keeps you realistic and grounded and all that. So, hope that helps for today with the law of navigation, John Maxwell's number 4 law of the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, John Maxwell. Tomorrow, today's Friday, okay, Monday is the law of addition, law number 5, and that means adding what? Adding value to people around you, seeing how you can add value. John Maxwell's a master at this. You can be too. You can look around and say, what can I do, bring, say, contribute? How can I add value to the person next to me, to the group around me, to the world? And that will help make you a better leader. So thank you very much for joining in today. We will see you Monday for the law of addition. But for our class members, we will see you Sunday at our Quick Start Basics class. That is our Sunday night basic class within the school. That is a very foundational class where we teach the method that I just mentioned, the method that always gets a yes and never gets a no, never gets objections. So why not make it easy for yourself as you do your network marketing business? We teach that and the 10 core commitments, the basic foundations which have proven for decades to create success in network marketing. That's our Sunday night class. A lot of you guys are on it. Guess what? It's super affordable, you guys. It's only $25 a month. Every network marketer can afford that to invest in their business, a lot cheaper than private coaching with Jeff or me. So come and gain this really, really good experience. 9 p.m. Eastern Time every Sunday night. It's recorded. It's the best I've ever seen, best training I've ever seen in this profession. We'd love to have you. I'm going to post a link for that too. So welcome, Noelle. Thank you everybody for being on. And if you're watching the replay, let's keep the dialogue going. Let's comment back and forth, share. Jeff and Brandy, if you're watching this, hope you're having a great time at your convention and exploding outside of your box as always. You guys never, never stop growing and just multiplying yourselves exponentially. Love you all, and we'll see you Monday, if not Sunday. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.